What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Power Play with CJ. Today we're going to talk about, is the NHL ready for a return to Quebec? For right off the bat, the number one issue here is Phoenix. We don't know, it's a day in, day out thing on their ownership situation. They realistically should have been in Winnipeg or Hamilton, Ontario 2 years ago. But, they've been kept around, and, it's, like I said, it's a year-to-year thing with Phoenix. Will they stay or will they go? And, I'm sure as a Coyotes player or fan, it must be a pain in the ass because you don't know if you're gonna be in Arizona next year, if you're gonna be in Seattle or Houston. We'll talk about those two cities as potential NHL landing spots. But right off the bat, I think the fan base deserves it. The Montreal Canadiens fans and Canadians on a whole were against the Nordiques coming into the NHL in the first place back in the 80s when WHA folded. But I think that you'll encounter that same kind of resistance. But just tell them to shut up. More or less. That's one thing you had to do. But I don't know where else. The NHL, I don't think is ready for another expansion. I don't think the NHL can handle two more teams. I think with the the uncertainty with Phoenix, obviously there was a lot of uncertainty in Atlanta, and they relocated back. They relocated to Winnipeg, back to Winnipeg, but to Winnipeg, and drastically altered the landscape of the NHL as a whole. Plus, I think it's bullshit that the Jets are still in the Southeast Division. I think the NHL should have realigned the divisions for this year. I think Nashville is not a team that's always in jeopardy. Should have slid to the Southeast Division and had Winnipeg up in the Central and Northwest Division. Done some stuff temporarily as a stopgap till they do the realignment next year with the CBA, which was shot down, so we don't know exactly where that's going. And going back to the Phoenix situation, I think they'd inherit a good team in Phoenix. They put the money in. Obviously those fans want to see a winner, and they'd obviously draw. You look at Winnipeg; they had drawn outstanding this year. The fans are very, very grateful to have hockey back, and for good reason. It's the best game on ice, and a hockey crazy mark like those two Canadian cities deserve teams. I think if you're gonna have teams in Tampa and Miami, the cities that really, really deserve hockey should have them too. In the U.S., they're talking about potential teams in Houston and Seattle. I don't see either one of those going over too well. Houston's got an AHL team. Houston had the Houston Aeros, who were originally WHA team. I don't know if they could support an NHL team on a full-time basis. They got the three other sports there though too, so maybe that's a step in the right direction. And Seattle's got two of the three. They obviously had three of the three, but Supersonics went to Oklahoma City, and Kevin Durant became a superstar in Oklahoma. Who would have done it? But I don't think Seattle's ready for an NHL team. They had one in the 1900s, and I think they won the Stanley Cup. But the year the flu epidemic broke out, in 1919, they got shut down. But one of the teams, Phoenix is either going to find a local owner or move. This whole year in year out thing, like I said, is a pain in the ass, and it's really a distraction because they've put a good product on the ice the last couple of years. They've got some young and talented players that are enjoying to watch. Keith Yandel and Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Michael Boddicker, guys like that. Are stars or future stars, and you look at. That's detracting from what they're doing. And Mike Smith, former Lightning great, is having a great year. And it's good to see a guy like that have a bounce back in the desert. But can the NHL keep them in Phoenix? I don't know what Bettman. If they're losing money, they should relocate. It's pretty straightforward. This whole league ownership thing I don't like, but hopefully, like I said, a local owner steps forward and the Yotes stay in Phoenix for the Coyotes fans' sakes. But could the NHL expand to Quebec with an expansion team? When was the last expansion? 2000, 2001 with Atlanta. We know how that worked out, and Minnesota. So, I don't know. Like I said, you need to expand it 2 teams. There have to be even 32 teams, 16 teams in each conference. Keep the same playoff format, I assume, with. Because like I said, the CBA shot down the Play Association shot down the new one for the CBA. I don't know. I really don't know exactly. Like I said, it would be either Seattle, Houston will get the other one. I don't think a team could go in Hamilton, Ontario, because of Toronto and Detroit and Buffalo, it's really in the ideal location to get shot down by those three teams. So I don't think that's going to work. And that's a good AHL city. I don't see that having the capacity for an NHL team. But that's kind of obviously the National Predators would have been there, and I don't think they're moving anytime soon. They're drawing down there. They're in better shape than most people think they are. It's just a matter of do Suter and Weber want to stay there. That's that kind of different issue entirely. But the team will stay there, whether or not number 6, number 20 are still there. It's a different story entirely. Florida's starting to experience success. I don't see them going anywhere. You know, I really don't know what other team would relocate. There's three teams in California, but all three teams have done well in the last couple of years. Obviously, Anaheim has been they've been better as of late. This on more the short term, but I don't know what other team you'd relocate. Carolina's drawn well. They've won a Stanley Cup. You really can't move them. I really don't know who else. Who would you relocate if you had to relocate someone? And like I said, if you're gonna put an expansion team in, the other city in here is Milwaukee. I don't see that working at all. They're a great AHL city, but I don't think could handle an NHL team at all. The Admirals have done very well, the AHL team, but I don't see them holding an NHL city on the whole. It's really they got to expand the Canadian markets. I think the Canadian markets probably make up the 7 teams, but they probably make up 40% of the income of the NHL. When you do the math of the 30 teams, that's like, wow, that jumps up. Might even be closer to 50, 60%. The figures that come from the Canadian markets, because no matter what, those fans are going to go to the games. They're going to be buying jerseys, T-shirts, hats, what have you. You need, the fan base it's a Canadian sport. Us Americans enjoy it. We love having the teams down here and back home in Boston and down here in Florida. But it really is a Canadian sport. It's not to take anything away from the great American players or fans in the game, but your revenue is coming from Canada, the majority of it. So, the majority of the league, player-wise, is Canadian. So, you got to cater more to the Canadian market. So that's why I think if you got to relocate Phoenix, Quebec City would be the right fit for them. Like I said, hopefully you don't have to relocate. But if they do, I think they'd fit in very well in Quebec, and I think the fans in Quebec City would welcome them with open arms. Well, the Islanders I've heard are up for relocation too. That's a different story entirely. If they go anywhere, I think it'll be Brooklyn. To be honest with you, the new Prokhorov. I don't know what the new name of it is. I'm just gonna call it the Prokhorov place because Mikhail Prokhorov, the Russian billionaire, paid for all of it, and he's a good dude, from what I've heard. That's it for this episode of the Power Play of CJ on the future of the NHL, and does Quebec warrant another NHL team? Later, guys.